Did you have a productive day today? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you knocked out a bunch of things today. Maybe took care of a bunch of emails, checked off a bunch of things on the old to-do list and the task list, but you don't feel productive or effective, you know? And I'll tell you what, sometimes it's because everything seems equal and we confuse activity with productivity. You know, we had Jay Papasan on the podcast recently who wrote the book, The One Thing. I highly recommend reading it if you haven't already. And we talk about things like time management. It's a myth. You know, it's really about priority management. But at the core of all of this, at the end of the day, is that, you know, if you want to have an uncommon life, well, then you got to stop making common choices. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, like, we all have the same amount of hours in a day. We have the same number of days in a week and a month and a year and so on. And yet, you know, those who start at the very same place at the start of the year will have drastically different outcomes at the end of that year. And what happened? They spent their time differently. They focused on different priorities. They were ruthless and relentless in terms of having complete clarity around what are the things that are the highest and best use of their time. And then you start to realize that most things do not actually even matter. Now, this is coming from someone who used to be one of those inbox zero people. Every day, believe it or not, like every day before I would even leave the office, my inbox had to be down to zero. If I had 300 emails, I would clear all 300 emails, and I could not feel good about myself if I did not leave the day with inbox zero. But an interesting thing happened. When I would respond to 300 emails, what do you think would occur? Well, I would get 300 more back because emails received, I've learned, is a function of emails sent. Now, I did an interesting experiment about a year ago, and I stopped doing email altogether. I stopped answering emails. I had urgent emails in my inbox that I did not answer, and a week went by, and 2 weeks went by, and a month went by, and guess what? I was still here, you know? The business didn't shut down. The office didn't burn down. Like, no one was upset. You know, anyone that had a real concern had to reach me as terms of a priority, either reached out and called me or reached out to me by way of my assistant or another team member or something like that. But guess what I got done during that time? All the most important things, the things that were perhaps important but not urgent, that weren't reactive, but they were the things that helped to move us forward the most. And guess what? Now I don't even focus on damn email. So I would say that if you say you don't have time for something, well, where's your time going? Maybe it's going towards Cobra Kai. Maybe you're watching Netflix. It's a great show, by the way. But maybe your priority is that you want financial freedom, or you want to grow your business, or you want to invest in your team, or you want to grow personally or professionally, and you want, like, let's say you want to become fitter, or whatever it is. Well, that requires perhaps replacing how you spend certain time with another way, perhaps replacing one habit with another habit, starting to do something or stopping doing things. But you got to stop making common choices and doing everything that everybody else is doing, because I'll tell you what, being in the middle sucks. You got the most competition, you got the most amount of mediocrity, and everybody's miserable. So aren't you better off doing the things that are perhaps uncommon, making some uncommon decisions, being dedicated and committed to things, prioritizing relentlessly, and then getting outside of that curve so you're not in the middle of the curve having the same problems that everybody else does? You need new problems. And that is a vlog for another day.